and welcome to Kansas City versus San Antonio for your Major League Quidditch Series of the Week. I'm Christina Packard, and I am here with
John Quattlebaum,
and we'll be commentating for you today. So far on the season, San Antonio has played New Orleans and Austin, completely swept New Orleans, but got swept by Austin, so 3-3 on the season. Where Kansas City, this is actually their first series of the season, so we will see what they can put together and how they can look against San Antonio today.
Really excited to see how San Antonio kind of overcomes that lack of depth, their short roster they've brought today. I noticed they were missing a couple of key pieces, Daniel Williams, Christopher De La Fuente. I'm going to see really that beater depth and see how they can step up.
Absolutely. All right, players are heading towards their brooms. Should be getting started here shortly. Hoping the weather here holds out too. Looks like we might get a little bit of rain.
It's been a very humid day in Kansas City, so hopefully it just stays at humidity and not come down too hard.
Otherwise, this could be a very different game depending on how the weather can affect, grip on the quaffle. I mean, quaffles already roll on turf pretty far as it is, and then adding the water element to it could definitely make this a toss-up really for what could happen.
I'm gonna move to the other side of the field so then they don't have to cross the field to stand.
All right.
Looks like they're getting set up here.
Yep.
They're going back and forth on what quaffle to use, but
always got to figure out just the right grip for everyone. In for keeper starting for Kansas City, we've got Mercick Ellis, who has recently been called up to the U.S. national team. Looks like we also have Brandstetter beating with DeWick.
Caitlin Johnson, I believe, is in that beater with Brandstetter chasing.
Oh, okay, sorry, chasing, there we go.
Max Wallerstedt making his first appearance since, I believe, the World Cup 8 season.
Oh, wow. So
he's been out of the game for a while.
Quite the time off in between, and a whole new kind of like meta of the game coming forward, and probably first time two-hand tackling for him then?
Oh, I'd say so. He's barely up on pitch seeking.
That'll be interesting to see. I want to see how he fares as someone that, played Circle World Cup 8 when, things are very, very different.
Yeah,
all right.
They're out for the quaffle.
Brooms are up. A bit of a slide into the quaffle there at first. I think that's going to be a card immediately for Kansas City. Looks like number...
There's Max Wallerstedt going in with the slide, making his name out, putting his name in early.
All right, so Kansas City will start this game with a person in the box. Looks like a yellow card was pulled on that, so it'll be 1 minute or until Soldados score.
Hey, let's go, Justin.
Quaffle was turned over into the hands of keeper for Soldados. There's a Kansas City beater immediately to his right.
Looks like Kansas City was able to secure bludger control on that, so they're going to be coming out into 2-2 zone, not too surprising.
Not at all. Blackwood with the quaffle.
Yes, Justin.
Good block there by Justin. Another good block by DeWitt.
Yes, Justin.
And
shot taken from behind the hoops by San Antonio, blocked by keeper Mercick Ellis.
Yep. Some really excellent bludger play back there by Justin DeWitt, as he got several blocks in there. Fails to make the catch there, and it looks like Kansas City is going to lose control. But that was some really strong play. Oh, and turnover back in the zone.
Yeah, Blackwood's got the ball behind the hoops. Passes to the front. Shot taken by number 43, Jay Stewart, for a goal. Current score right now is 10-0 San Antonio. Kansas City looking to see if they can get bludger control back, also in possession of the quaffle. San Antonio playing inside their keeper zone, pretty tight around the hoops. Kansas City pass to the outside.
Just swing that ball around.
Gets beat before.
Comes off broom. And this
Blackwood moving the quaffle forward for San Antonio. Passes the ball to Esperanza. Esperanza gets beat. Shot taken from the front by Hinenbaugh.
Shot, Mel.
Goal. Or sorry, Mel Kite. Apologies. Mel Kite with the goal for San Antonio. Scores 20-0 San Antonio.
With that scrap behind the hoops, there was San Antonio was able to secure possession as well.
That makes it really difficult for Kansas City right now. They got to get their beaters together so that they can get control back and see if they can make something happen with this quaffle before San Antonio just runs away with it. Mercick Ellis with a great jump over the bludger, takes the shot and a goal for Kansas City, putting them on the board. Scores 20-10. San Antonio leads. Goal by Mercick Ellis, though.
And that was a lot of athleticism, really shifty in the keeper zone there. They're going to need a lot of that in order to stay in this game.
Little snitch catch, but that's not gonna leave.
I wish I still had hops like that.
I wish I ever had hops like that.
All right, let's go, KJ.
All right. Esperanza walking the quaffle in for San Antonio. Kansas City playing directly on top of their hoops.
Looks like they've got 3 back on the hoops.
Yeah, and Mercick Ellis playing at the keeper zone line. Keepers unable to get beat when they're inside the zone like that, so it's something we're seeing a lot more in the game today. Shot taken by number 43, Jay Stewart, blocked by Heald.
Oh, yeah, Miguel Esparza is so dangerous in the zone with a bounce pass.
Behind the hoops to Stewart. Stewart takes the shot, but it's too high over top of the hoops. Esperanza picks up the quaffle at center pitch, but it did cross the line, so they have no reset at this point in time. Esperanza pushing it in. Quaffle gets blocked at the hoops by number 15, Wallerstedt of Kansas City. Blackwood with the quaffle, passes the ball off to Kite. Kansas block made by Kansas City on the shot. Quaffle goes rolling out behind, turned over to Heald.
Hey, let's go, Ryan Dickey.
The zones looked really strong early on, getting a lot of blocks, and there's not a lot of room for San Antonio to operate in that zone.
No, not at all. Kansas City doing a great job of keeping their hands up on defense. Anytime you have your hands up, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get the quaffle through the hoops.
Hey, let's go.
Heald walking the quaffle in. San Antonio with bludger control. Mercick Ellis at the top, passes back to Heald. Heald passes behind hoops. It stopped just inside of the line. Esperanza keeping Kansas City on the ropes back behind their own hoops. Pass back up top, picked up by Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis pushed back over the center line by number 18, Hayworth of San Antonio with her bludger.
We've got both beaters off room for Kansas City right now as they're driving in. It's still able to get the score without either of their beaters. Looks like they've got a fresh beater line in.
Yeah, I look.
Vincent Reyes, and is that Laura Curry?
I believe that is Lauren. Heald able to just walk his way right in. Bludgers were kind of occupied on the ground a little bit, even though San Antonio had them sitting right in front of them, and get that goal for Kansas City. Score right now is 20-all.
Hey, let's go, Senna.
Pass back behind hoops to Kite. Kite picks up the quaffle, charges in, block made by number 27.
Hey, you're good, Vincent. Let's go.
27? 72, excuse me.
Let's go, Billy.
Dickey. Just transposing my numbers there a little bit, guys. Can't help it.
Looks like we've got a full line shift out for Kansas City. They've got Sonny Morimoto in at keeper. We've got Billy over at chaser along with Ryan Dickey.
Quaffle gets tossed out of bounds at the San Antonio sideline. Turnover to San Antonio. Esperanza picks up the quaffle, slowly walking it forward. Maybe a bit of miscommunication error.
Yeah, it looked like they were subbing out in what could have been a fast break opportunity. They had one beater getting back, but there's a lot of chaos going over there. San Antonio has, so far this season, looked like they've really wanted to get out on that break. So I wonder if that might be a bit due to their lack of depth that they brought today. Only 16 players.
Could be, because like I said, it looked like there was definitely a lack of communication as to who was subbing in and who was subbing out, or if they were actually going, because the beaters went, but the quaffle players definitely did not.
Yes, Senna.
Pass made behind the hoops. Back over to number 6.
Go, Matt.
Go, Matt!
Hey, good
And that's
D,
number
Senna.
6, Blackwood, with the goal for San Antonio.
Come on, David!
Scores 30-20 San Antonio.
San Antonio still holding on to bludger control. Quach and Morimoto in for Kansas City in the Quaffle game. Trying to see if they can let their beaters make something happen.
Yes,
McClanahan makes a great beat. Bludgers are on the ground. Pass made behind the hoops to Dickey. Dickey passes back over the hoops to Quach. Quach across.
An
Oh, sorry.
excellent,
Yeah.
excellent ball movement by Kansas City there. As they were able to move that ball around, keep the beaters one step ahead of the beaters. Really great play there.
Absolutely, and excuse me on that, it was Morimoto that passed off to Quach for that last Kansas City goal. Scores 30 all. This has been some of the closest Quidditch that I've seen all this season.
Yeah, Kansas City's played a really strong team-oriented attack.
They certainly have, and it's definitely paying off for them because most of the times when they're running in on that Quaffle play, I mean, San Antonio's had bludger control and they just make something happen. Shot taken, but it is too high over the little hoop. Esperanza comes up with the Quaffle, though, takes the shot at the mid-size hoop. It's called off again. San Antonio still with the Quaffle at the top. Oh, no, never mind.
They're calling that he was beat prior to the shot.
Okay.
Turnover.
Turnover to
And-
Morimoto. Morimoto just running in. No bludgers back for San Antonio. Shot taken. Looks like it veers just off the side of the hoop.
Score remains 30 all.
Esperanza passes back behind the hoops to Stewart. Stewart able to get the goal through the small hoop. Makes our score 40-30. San Antonio leads.
Yep.
San Antonio's been definitely scoring first so far on each drive, and Kansas City's just sort of been trailing behind them. So it'll be interesting to see if Kansas City can keep up with San Antonio's pace or if they'll start falling behind here in a bit. But San Antonio having their limited roster depth, I'm thinking might start coming into play the longer that these games go.
As Kansas City's already on their third line. Senna stayed in, but they've got Joe Goulet back in. They've got Brennan Duncan, Brian McClanahan in the beater game. So they've got some fresh legs. And as they drive in, there's
That was a
a
great
missed
pick
shot
up
there
at
by
the top.
Morimoto.
And a great stop by San Antonio keeper. Carlisle with the Quaffle for San Antonio. Pass around at the top with number 11, Avila. Pass gets taken behind the hoops across to Stewart. Stewart drives in, passes back up top to Carlisle. Quaffle's rolling, goes across center pitch. So that'll be a reset used for San Antonio. On the far side, Stewart gets beat out for San Antonio, has to run back to hoops before coming back into play. Avila with the Quaffle on the far side. Carlisle moving back behind hoops. Stewart gets the Quaffle at the top. Back outside to Avila, back to Stewart. Great stop by Kansas City, number 48, Goulet.
A bit of a heads-up play there by San Antonio, noticing that they recovered by the chaser in the keeper zone, getting that beat out, seeing him score a cheap goal there.
Yeah, anything that makes it work. Goulet with the Quaffle takes a push shot. Almost goes rolling out from behind. Gets picked back up. Pass inside across the hoops to number 3, Ruiz. Ruiz back up top to Morimoto.
It appears that there's going to be an advantage call there, potentially a tackle from behind.
Morimoto across to Goulet. Goulet drives and puts that Quaffle through the hoop.
Looks like our head referee, Jackson Johnson, just called it back to hoops on that. Good officiating there. It looked like it was released pretty quick.
I love when officials do that just because it keeps the pace of the game going. That not everything requires a stoppage and a conversation.
Yeah.
Score right now is 40 all. Kansas City tying it up with that last goal. Carlisle with the Quaffle on the far side of the pitch for San Antonio. Passes back behind the hoops to Freeman. Freeman walking the Quaffle. Kansas City, though, not coming out of their zone in any capacity. It's a foot race. Pass made with the foot back up to Avila. Avila gets knocked off the Quaffle by Goulet. Goulet passes to Grant at the center of the pitch. Grant tries to block the Quaffle, gets beat. San Antonio falls on top of the Quaffle just outside their keeper zone. Always be aware of where your bludgers are when you're going on those fast breaks. That was unfortunate for Kansas City.
There's a real 2-on-1 opportunity there. They should have been able to just pass that back and forth, and it should have been a pretty easy fast break goal there.
It's never a worse feeling than when you're a quaffle player thinking you got a fast break and you take a bludger to the back. Quaffle on the far side of the pitch in the hands of Freeman. Freeman passes to Carlisle.
Looks like Kansas City is able to secure control finally, and they are pressing.
Yeah. Vila makes a strong pass across the hoops. Back up to Carlisle. Carlisle having to deal with Goulet standing in his way, pushing him out. Freeman gets beat on the play. Quaffle back in the hands of Carlisle.
Yeah.
Long pass across the pitch to Vila. Vila spins and puts the quaffle through the small hoop for San Antonio.
Go, David!
Scores 50-40. San Antonio leads. Kansas City getting some fresh legs into the beating game.
Let's go, Adam.
We got DeWick in. Scrum behind the hoops for a bludger. It's a little questionable. Quaffle went rolling off the far side of the pitch. Gets put back in the hands of Esperanza.
Yeah, it looked like there was just a little bit of confusion as to when the ball was out. There's a bit of play afterwards. Always a tough situation there where one player thinks the ball's out, the other player thinks they're just getting hit late.
Right. Yeah, that's always a difficult thing. Sometimes it helps just to say, I don't have it. Esperanza passes back behind the hoops to Stewart. Stewart takes a shot, no good. Quaffle picked back up by San Antonio. Reset was used.
Hey, be smart, Justin.
Kansas City holding on to bludger control, making San Antonio a little bit more conservative with the quaffle around the hoops. Blackwood charging in on Heald. Pass back to Stewart.
And it looks like San Antonio was able to secure bludger control in that exchange.
That should help them here. We'll see what Stewart can do with the quaffle back behind the hoops. Stewart. Quaffle back up top in the hands of Blackwood. Blackwood passes to Esperanza. Esperanza walking behind Hinnenbaugh. Protected by her bludger.
Go, Aaron.
Grant pushing Esperanza to the top of the keeper zone, trying to keep him at a bad angle for a shot. Pass back up top to Blackwood. Blackwood protected by Hinnenbaugh's bludger. Hinnenbaugh makes a beat on DeWick. DeWick blocks it with his own bludger. All three bludgers are on the ground with Stewart with the quaffle behind hoops. Unable to get there, though, as he gets tackled by Grant. And then a stop made on the quaffle by Heald.
The defense in Stampede is able to come away with both the quaffle and control. Looks like there's some confusion as the beaters are subbing while Stampede's coming up. They're going to see if they can take advantage.
Heald, quaffle off to Brandstetter. Brandstetter gets the quaffle popped out of her hands from behind. And we will wait and see what the call on that is.
Yeah. Dylan Freeman thinks that it was from the side, but unfortunately Jackson Johnson thinks it was from behind, and his opinion is the one that matters here.
So Stewart will get a yellow card for San Antonio, and that will be 1 minute in the box or until Kansas City scores. Score right now is 50-40. San Antonio leads. Quaffle in the hand of Brandstetter, and Brandstetter shot, easy peasy, goal for Kansas City.
Yeah, I was wondering if she was just going to look to dump it behind the hoops or if she was going to set it back, but hey, the shot's there, take it.
Yeah, if it's there, definitely take it. No need to waste more time, especially when you've got that whole minute with Stewart in the box until the score. San Antonio with quaffle, being very conservative again as Kansas City does have control. DeWick and his partner Gutierrez doing a great job of holding on to that control until Kite comes in and takes the bludger out from behind DeWick.
Yep.
Esperanza with the quaffle at the top.
Yep. It looks like San Antonio has switched to a double female beater set. Kat Hayworth
And Mel Kite.
and Belton.
Stewart with the quaffle charges in, gets wrapped up tight. Blackwood gets the quaffle back behind hoops, takes the shot, but it is too high. Quaffle back in the hands of Esperanza. Esperanza charging in on Mercick Ellis, passes back behind to Stewart. Stewart jumps for San Antonio.
Great spin move there. Great ball move by San Antonio.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a great job of off-ball movement, too, because every single one of those opportunities was created because the person that didn't have the quaffle in hand was moving around and getting to space. Score is 60-50. San Antonio leads. San Antonio with bludger control. Mercick Ellis tries to take a shot. It gets blocked. Stewart
Fast
gets
break
the quaffle
opportunity.
stripped from him at the last minute by Heald. Still able to pick it up and score.
Looks like there's going to be a card there on Adam Heald.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a yellow card.
Is Jack not coming?
The penalty time will be negated by the goal. But a yellow card was issued for Heald. It looked like he made a gesture for neck contact.
Yeah, that'll make the score 70-50.
Time is 16:37 game time, so shortly here we will be having our 20-minute intermission before the Snitch comes on pitch. Your Snitch today, Matt Melton. So we will see how he can handle the snitching game. It's been a snitch plenty of times before, so I know he's excited to get back into that side of the game. All the bludgers are on the ground. Quach with the quaffle behind San Antonio's hoops and goal.
Billy, best known for his highlight reels, making a highlight reel play of his own there.
It's always great when you can go from behind the camera and getting everyone else's, best angle to being on the pitch and sort of showing your best angle too. Score 70-60, San Antonio leads. Quaffle in the hands of Esperanza. Hayworth making beats to lead the way for San Antonio.
It looks like there's some confusion as to who was beat there. San Antonio does come away with the control.
And making a way for Esperanza in towards Kansas City, but Kansas City is really posting up on those hoops, making it really difficult just to drive in. Quaffle being tossed around on the far side. Bludgers all in front of Kansas City bench. Looks like San Antonio comes up with bludger control on that far side. Charging in, no good. Picked up by Kansas City.
Right there.
Yep. San Antonio, they've had a lot of success out there with Kat Hayworth really anchoring that beater core.
Yeah, she's been doing amazing for the San Antonio Beaters, for sure. And we've got some fresh legs in Ryan Dickey for Kansas City going behind the hoops. Brandstetter with quaffle in hand. Moving to the side of the hoops, passes back up to Mercick Ellis. Mercick Ellis driving around the beaters through Esperanza, tries to make the shot, but the quaffle gets knocked away. San Antonio picks up quaffle. Charging in hard is Stewart. Stewart passes to Esperanza. And goal for Esperanza for San Antonio, extending San Antonio's lead to 80-60. And I believe we're going to be getting a delay of game for not restarting the quaffle before out the keeper. It's been a very fast-paced game thus far, though. And as back and forth as it's been, it's looked like San Antonio is starting to pull away. Kansas City might need to change something up here in order to stay in line, really, with Soldados before Snitch comes on pitch.
Yeah, Kansas City has really struggled to find an answer for that double female beater set.
All right, players are back to their brooms, remounting. Quaffle in the hands of Esperanza.
Neither do I. I literally have
San Antonio taking their time, moving up the pitch, even with bludger control. Charging in hard, goes back around behind the hoops. Esperanza takes the shot, and it is good.
Good. We'll make it 90-60.
San Antonio extending that lead almost out of snitch range. Quach moving the quaffle up for Kansas City.
Oh my.
Pass back up top to Morimoto, but he gets beat on the play.
Oh,
Stewart rushing the quaffle in for San Antonio. Nobody to stop him. Goal for San Antonio.
yep. All right. And it looks like that is going to be 20 minutes.
Looks like
Esparza.
Esparza. Okay.
Relax, Stampede. Breathe.
Apologies on adding an extra syllable. Sometimes my tongue moves way too fast, so I will get it right going forward.
Let's go, Billy. Come on, beat you.
Sounds like the time is 19:50. I'm not quite sure what the stoppage is. This is going to be the last possession, presumably.
Yes, ideally, this will be the last possession, depending on how long it takes Kansas City to get rid of this quaffle. But we shall definitely see, because sometimes you want to go into the second half with quaffle in hand. So do you give it away right away, or just wait?
The score is currently sitting at 100-60, with San Antonio in the lead.
Quach moving the quaffle up for Kansas City, excuse me. San Antonio with bludger control. Number 51, Curry for Kansas City, trying to be a threat and occupy the San Antonio beaters to make a way for her quaffle players to make a hole and essentially get one more score before we go into this intermission.
Yeah, Kansas City doing a really good job there of killing some time. They had a beater in the box, just making sure that they have that beater ready for Snitch on pitch.
Yeah, Morimoto passes back to the top to Quach.
That is a
Quach dodges both bludgers, no bludgers in the way now, and able to get that goal. And that will take us into our 1 minute intermission.
That was a really great drive there by Billy, showing a lot of elusiveness as he's able to get that score up to 100-70 as we hit the 20-minute mark.
Absolutely. Kansas City definitely needed that to try to, stay within as much range as they can. Snitch obviously coming onto pitch now will be worth 35 points, and our set score will be 160. So for those of you that have not joined us yet for Major League Quidditch this summer,
Esparza, no. Yeah.
60 has been added to the highest point total of right now, which is the 100 that San Antonio has for our set score. So set score will be 160. Whichever team reaches 160 first will be the winner and end the game. It's always interesting to see how teams go into this next half strategizing. Kansas City being down, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to allocate their beaters to the quaffle play or more on the snitch. What would you do in this situation?
Oh my God!
That's why they're over there and I'm over here. No, I think San Antonio in particular, they're in a really strong position with their double female set. They're having a lot of success out there. I think that they are best suited into focusing on the quaffle game. As for Kansas City, I think you have to get the catch here. If you don't get the catch, you're making up 60 points, and I just don't see them making that in this.
Yeah.
In the quaffle game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That'll make it rough on them, especially given the heat, the humidity right now. Sure, they've got the number of players here to help them out with that, but that's still a pretty big deficit to try to come back from, especially with as fast as San Antonio's been playing.
Yeah. It feels like a couple drops may be coming down, so we'll see how that changes the dynamic of this game.
All right, so Seekers are starting to line up on the far side. Your snitch is on pitch. Seekers will get a 10-second countdown once game time begins, and then they will be able to interact with the snitch.
I mean, no, there's probably somewhere.
Bludgers right now. Okay, there we go. Bludgers right now in the hands of McClanahan and Curry for Kansas City and Himes for San Antonio. right, game has begun. Curry passes bludger back to McClanahan, who makes a beat on Hinnenbaugh.
Let's go, Joe.
It looks like they may be allocating both of their beaters to the seeking game, really making sure they've got those opportunities. Chasers are going to have to hold it down in the quaffle game.
Absolutely, and Esparza does just that for San Antonio.
Let's go, Joe.
Getting a goal right off the bat there. Score is 110-70. San Antonio leads.
Looks like we have Joe Goulet in at seeker for Kansas City, and for San Antonio we have Jay Stewart. You know that Jay has had quite a bit of success seeking for San Antonio this season. Their seeker depth is going to be tested, as Eric Reyes and Chris De La Fuente have been their other typical seekers.
Brandstetter tries to take the quaffle in for Kansas City, gets caught up, pass off to Morimoto. Morimoto gets the ball behind to Mercick Ellis, who picks it up and sends it through the small hoop.
Good job, D.
Score is 110-80 with that goal by Mercick Ellis.
Joe Goulet getting some time alone with the snitch.
You're right there,
Nice
Joe.
reach
Let's
there,
go.
but it's one of those that looks like it hits the fingertips, but isn't quite there yet.
Hey, you're close,
Sparza
Joe.
walking the quaffle forward for San Antonio. All bludgers being allocated to Snitch at this point. McClanahan, oh my gosh. McClanahan making it difficult for Stewart to even get close to the Snitch right now.
Get looks.
Right. The score is now 120-80 in favor of San Antonio.
You have San Antonio with another goal there. And Mercick Ellis charging in hard. Pass the ball to Morimoto. Morimoto gets a goal.
It sounds like there was a collision there between the snitch and one of the San Antonio beaters. Looks like everybody's all right.
Everyone's back up and on their feet. Score right now 120-90. Quaffle on the far side of the pitch in the hands of San Antonio. San Antonio charging into the hoops and just sets the ball through the small hoop. Blackwood with the goal for San Antonio makes our score 130-90. Mercick Ellis charging in, not even waiting for San Antonio to jump back though. Passes the ball off to Heald. Heald making the goal to keep Kansas City in this game.
Nice beat, Vincent.
That'll
Good
make
work,
the score
Vincent.
120-100.
Time to eat.
Kansas City trying to bring this game back, making sure that San Antonio can't stay outside of range. Quaffle on the far side in the hands of Blackwood for San Antonio.
Yeah, Kansas City has had quite a bit of time on the snitch, and it looks like Joe Goulet is subbing out.
Blackwood fakes out Heald and sends the ball through the medium hoop.
130-100. It's now Aaron Grant in at seeker for Kansas City.
Trying all kinds of different looks.
Scores 140-100 in favor of San Antonio.
Commit to it.
Stewart still seeking for San Antonio at this time.
There you go.
Grant coming in flying. Mercick Ellis with a nice pass off to Goulet for Kansas City.
Almost there, Jake.
And there was a very close to a catch there for San Antonio as Miguel Esparza sprints down the field. They now need one goal to win.
Yep, 150-110 our current score. 160 our set score. One more for San Antonio or the snitch catch would do it. Reyes in to beat for Kansas City.
Oh,
Come on,
and,
Miguel.
All right.
oh, and it looks like the snitch is down.
All right, small pause in the game. Everything just got a lot faster that last minute. Now it's do or die right now for Kansas City. Next, San Antonio would win it.
Aaron.
Athletic trainer coming on, taking a look, just making sure that our snitch is all right.
He is back up on his own accord, of his own power and will. I think there was just another collision there with one of the seekers.
Yeah, it looks like he may have just caught a leg the wrong way and tripped over him.
Yeah, as tends to happen, unfortunately.
Looks like there's going to be a yellow card on Stampede Seeker for charging.
So yellow card, 1 minute in the box for Grant. It'll be interesting to see what happens now. Esparza with the quaffle in hand for San Antonio, passes across to Avila. Avila lets the ball bounce, but able to pick it up. Passes back across to number 12.
That Huge stop there by Kansas City.
Great stop by Kansas City. Quaffle in the hands of Mercer
Oh,
Ellis.
and that
but it
may
looks
be
like
it.
we might have a snitch catch.
Go, Jay. Good snap, Jay.
Jay Stewart finally getting some time alone on the snitch.
Yeah, it definitely made it a lot easier once Grant was in the box. And that catch is going to be good for San Antonio.
Final score of that first game is going to be 185-110.
Yep, win for San Antonio.